All right, we are back. Welcome everybody to the 81 Reasons Pod. We got our second guest, Mr. James Turner, JT. Appreciate you coming on, bro. Um, we just want to thank
So
anybody who's already tuned in already. If you've watched all the episodes, thank you. Send us a like, share it to your page, hit that subscribe button. We're still trying to figure it out. Let's get things going. So we got Mr. James Turner. He's from Fairfield, Ohio. Played football at Akron. But JT, I'm gonna let you go ahead and get into it. Give a little elevator pitch about yourself. Go ahead and tell the people who you are.
for sure. Well, Marcus and Zach, appreciate y'all having me on the show. I
Oh
remember
no.
y'all kicked this thing off not too long ago, and I knew I was going to be interested just because I know enough about you two to know it was going to be a good vibe and see what y'all are sharing with the people. But like you said, from Cincinnati, from Fairfield, Ohio. Graduated from high school in 2012, same year as you guys, and
Yeah.
yeah, you know what's up. So been down in Fairfield. I currently live in Columbus, Ohio. Got married last year, but kind of start off with you know elevator pitch, kind of going from there. But I work in the payroll industry. I've been in this industry now about 2.5, 3 years. Um, I came back here after being in Dallas for a little bit and really settled down. I think I'm finding like my, kind of settling down here in Columbus is a good spot, especially for me and my wife right now. Family's still close enough. If I need to get to Cincinnati to see moms, that works out.
Yeah.
Her family lives about an hour and a half away, so we're in a really good position to where like we can hit either direction and still be close to family. So it's all been good that way. Like I said, played sports in college, played football, basketball in high school. I try to stay active still to this day. I'm in basketball leagues. I'm thinking about joining the flag football league up here in Columbus. But similar to Zach, I coach basketball at the high school level now for one of the inner city schools here, and it's a different world on the other side of that fence, man.
Yeah, it
And
is.
coaching life is different. It's
Yeah,
so different, man.
it is, man.
Um,
It is.
but yeah, been in business pretty much since I got out. I've worked in sales roles. I've worked in sponsorship and marketing. And I've had a not necessarily bartending, but a bar back job I was working when I was down in Dallas. Even did a little bit of refereeing on the side when I was like 23, 24 years old, just like on weekends, just to make a little bit extra cash on the side. But done a decent amount. But I think sales is where I'm truly meant to be at. I love being able to speak with people. Getting to connect with different people on the business side of it, and just learning what's going on in the business landscape here in Columbus. I learned a little bit down in Dallas. It's a great market down there for jobs. But when I had the opportunity to get back to Ohio in 2019, it was a really, really hard thing to pass up on. Everybody's got families. Everybody's not getting any younger,
Right.
so had my 3-4 years to get away. You know, live a little while I was down there, and then when I got the opportunity to come back and have a position here and where both my parents grew up, it just made a lot of sense. So that's what brought me back here. So that's a short elevator pitch. I won't give everything away in the
Right.
first 5 minutes of the podcast. I'll let you narrate there, Marcus.
Nah, for sure, bro. I mean, that's what's up. I mean, moved down to Dallas. Got a little, I don't know, seasoned after college, kind of moved out of
Mm-hmm.
Ohio, moving back to Ohio. I mean, that's good though. That's something where a lot of people need to change it up, switch it up, not get too comfortable, not just, after you finish college, even after you stop playing football. We all played football, move back home, and
Mm-hmm.
just get too comfortable where, you're around those, not to say people that aren't elevating themselves, but you went out to Dallas. I'm sure you networked with a lot of people, met a lot of folks
Mm-hmm.
that are on a path that you're now on. So that's awesome that
Mm-hmm.
you're even back in Ohio. But growing up in Cincy, I mean Fairfield, how was it like? I know you'd mentioned playing basketball, football. I know
Mm-hmm.
sports is the pinnacle, but I mean growing up in your household, family life, how were things for you?
Yeah. So family life was good, man. My mom is still a teacher. She starts year 34 this week. Year
Boy,
34 teaching in Fairfield City School District this
I'm
week.
telling you, man.
Uh, Hey, hey, Marcus, I don't think you've had an opportunity to meet her, but
I
man,
don't believe
I
so.
don't know how she's
She
been
the
doing it
truth.
this long.
She the truth, man.
She
I don't know
sound
how she's been doing it this long.
30 something years. She sounds like a special lady, especially dealing with these kids now. I get it.
Hey,
Maybe back in
man,
the day you could, but nowadays these kids is they got something wrong. I don't know. There's a
hey,
lot of
man,
They're
let
a
me
screws in
little
tell
there.
you,
different
we could do a whole episode on the stories
on
I get
that.
from her like 3 or 4 times a week. Whole episode.
Oh man.
But yeah, to get back into it, family life was really good, man. I had, me, my brother, my dad, my mom. We got to Cincinnati permanently in like 97 or 98. I want to say I was born here in Columbus. We moved to Atlanta when I was like 18 months old for a year and a half for about 18 months. Lived in Atlanta for a little bit for my dad's job. And then we relocated back to Ohio, Cincinnati, right around that 97, 98 time. And, my mom's had roots there. Parents built their first house down there. My mom still lives in the house. So got introduced to football at like in fourth grade. Story about that actually is um, my mom was on a girls trip with all her girlfriends and whatnot, and she was like completely against the idea, didn't want us to do it, and like said no. My dad bribed my brother and I, said, I bet y'all $100 y'all never finish a football season.
Mm.
Y'all both know $100 when you 10 years old is like
That's a lot of money.
I'm rich.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of
I'm
money.
rich, right? So we get my dad signs us up behind her back while she's in Chicago with her girls. She comes back. My brother and I are in the front yard running around in our pads, and like she chewed him out. Like
Uh,
she chewed him out
like what's
about that.
going on?
Yeah, because she was nervous. She's like, "Oh, I don't want my babies getting hit, baby getting
Mama
hurt."
Bear.
Like when we were so, yeah, you know what that is.
Yeah.
So we got into it and obviously grew like loved it. Right, it was Saturdays as a fourth, fifth, sixth grader, which is absolutely awesome. Started made a lot of friends who I'm still close with from those days. I got my father to thank for that because I probably wouldn't have gone and signed up by myself or had the interest in doing it. I was full blown just basketball as a kid. Um, so that's fourth grade. Fifth grade, played football. Everything was cool, but and Zach, and I believe Marcus, you even noticed as well. My father passed away
That's right.
in
Yeah.
fifth grade in March of my fifth grade year, and it was everybody sees their dad as like Superman, right? Like you look at
Mm-hmm.
dad, he's like, oh, he's invincible, can't nothing happen to him. Like, and he was in the hospital for he died when I was 11. He was in hospital for like the first 10 years of my life. So we did Christmases in the hospital, we did birthdays in the hospital. I mean, we were in and out, like Mercy Hospital in Fairfield, is it Good Sam downtown on UC
Yeah.
campus? Good
Yeah.
Samaritan. Spent
Good
a whole bunch of
Samaritan. Yep.
holidays in there. My first, like one of my first Christmas gifts I got in the hospital was a little Bow Wow CD. I'll never forget opening
Nah,
that.
So Bow Wow.
little Bow
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy.
Nah,
It's crazy.
uh,
But yeah, so he passed away at a young age, and at that point, it was just like I went through a little spell as a kid. You don't realize it until like you get older and start thinking about it. But I went through a lot of like I gave up on. I was real big into music, played the drums as a kid. Kind of threw that away. I wanted to give up football, but my mom kind of wouldn't let that happen because she saw how much I enjoyed it. And just like for a minute, I kind of just like shut down as any kid would. But you black out for a little while after that. And then again, thinking about it and going back through it, I started to latch on to a bunch of like male figures in my life, right? Whether it was a coach, whether it was a good friend of my dad's or a good friend of my mom's, who just kind of like helped step in and kind of help mold me into a young man as I was getting older. So that I feel like is kind of what saved me as a kid, if you ask me, outside of my mom being who she is, being a saint, raising two young kids. I have an older brother who's about 19 months older than me. He just turned 32 a couple weeks back. So doing that's the young part of my life. And then after that is when schedules got busy: basketball, football, flag football, AAU basketball, where I ended up really meeting Zach. Like we
yeah.
played against each other in middle school. When was it Verity or Vale you was at?
Verity, come on, Verity, man, Verity.
Hey, I'm just making sure. I'm just trying to make
Verity.
sure here. So I
What's
ended up
Verity?
meeting him.
It was the
It's one of
better
the
of the
middle
middle
schools
schools,
Middletown
Middletown.
has.
Oh, the better
The
of.
better,
So
the
he
better.
says,
It
okay,
was the
I
better.
got you.
Right. I won't lie to you though. Like Verity's the football team at Verity was a cheat
Yeah, it
code.
was
It seemed
nasty.
like I
Yeah,
don't
it
know what
Oh
was
was
yeah.
nasty.
going on.
Nah, but I mean,
It was,
Vail had some dudes though. I ain't gonna sit here and say that. Vail was definitely good. I mean, every other class, Vail was like better than Verity, but from
not
my
y'all's.
understanding, but our class, like we went undefeated in basketball and football both years.
Boys
But
was
yeah,
cold.
yeah.
What
Hey,
was
but
the
now
A?
JT, I want to
No.
circle back before you jump into the AU.
Yep.
You talked about you wanted to give up football. Like, was that because your dad is the one who introduced you to that football? Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't
Yeah.
say.
As a young kid, it just like hurt, right? It was like seemed like
Mhm.
what the person who gave it to me was gone. So like, where was the inspiration to keep playing?
Mm,
And I'm glad I didn't because of how far it took me in life, who
right.
people I've met through it. But like at the point, I was willing to really just give up everything. Like
Mm,
I wasn't really concerned about sports at that point. Wasn't concerned about school. I mean, it was like I said, it was a blackout mode. It was a blackout mode because like you're 10 years old at the time. I mean, he literally passed away a day after I turned 11,
oh
and
man.
it was just like I can't explain it more than a blackout. Really, it's just like
Right.
I didn't really know what to do, and the fact that I just like woke up every day. My mom made sure I got to school, made sure I was still active and busy was probably the best thing for me because had I just sat somewhere and not done nothing, it probably would have just ate me up for God knows how long. So
Being.
it was
So, I'm sorry.
definitely
Go
that.
ahead. Uh,
No, you
well,
straight. Good.
so that's interesting. You said that the day after your birthday, like, do your birthdays as an adult bother you still? Because I know if
Oh
it
yeah,
was me and I was a kid and I lost my father the day after, or if I lost anybody that close to me, I feel like that day for me would be ruined. Because I mean, I lost my grandmother uh,
I remember
5
this. This was
days.
a few years ago.
Yeah, it's 5 days. Nah, it was 5 days before my birthday, and I still like
Mhm.
when it comes around my birthday now, it's like whatever. So and I'm
Right.
30 years old. You know what I mean? So I mean, like, how does that affect you and like your birthday? Because I mean, like I said, it does eat me up. Like when it comes around my birthday.
No, for sure. That's you make a great point because it's the same way for me today. Like it's over time, I mean, gosh, next March will be 20 years, right?
Mm,
So take it the first 5, 6 years, I didn't want to speak to nobody. I mean,
right.
that's from 5th grade to 10th grade. I didn't want to speak to nobody. I didn't want to do nothing for my birthday. I didn't. It was blackout mode, like that week of or anything. Really, once March hit, it was just like this.
Yeah.
This is gonna suck. It's gonna be 31 days of something I just really want to forget. And with it being that close, I was really lucky. Obviously, my mom was huge, as I'll say probably a million times on this episode. But like, I had a good group of friends as a young kid who were like, I had gotten close with. Like, I played football with them, so their parents knew, and they always tried to find something for us to do, in that range of a few days that where it could like help take my mind off of it,
Mhm.
try to help put me in a better mental space for, if it's for a couple hours during the course of that week, or just try to on that day. Um, they really looked out for me. I had friends who threw me like surprise birthday parties on my birthday or whenever they could. They
Yeah.
orchestrated it with my mom, and she was always down for it because she knew what type of mood I was in. So it's tough. It still is to this day. My wife knows it. My close friends still know it. It's a tough day, man. Like
Yeah.
it's hard not to think back on something like that. I mean, granted, it's 19 years, and they say, "Oh, time heals all wounds," but
Nah.
it's a tough one.
Nah. Yeah.
It's a
Because
tough one.
dude, because like I said, my grandmother was a few days before my birthday, and it's like, and my birthday is November 30th, so it's like it's like around Thanksgiving. And growing up, you was having Thanksgiving at your grandma's house, so now it's like, hey, I don't even really like. I could care. Like I know my mom had Thanksgiving. I want to say last year before last, and like I was just like so out of it because like that's how I correlate everything when it comes to holidays like that. I was with my grandmother, and then she passed around the same time too. So it's like, I mean, like I
Hmm.
said, it's tough. So I definitely understand that, dude. Like it. I mean, you've dealt with it longer than I have, but like even after these couple of years, it still feel the same.
Yeah, nah, it's like I said that the having the core people around you, around myself for sure, is what honestly helps get me through them
Mm.
days. It's I obviously met my wife so long after, but like explaining to her what happened and kind of how that time was used or has been used over the years when it gets around that time, and she's the same way. So like something like that comes up, and it's like, hey, what can we do to like put him in the best mental space, kind of get his mind off of it, and it's something I've talked. I've been to counseling, I've been to therapy, and I've talked about it a little bit. So it's there's still some like I don't want to say demons, but there's still like trauma there, right?
Yeah,
Just as for anybody, grief is a traumatic thing. So there's still trauma there that I'm working through as a 30-year-old. So it's long
yeah.
overdue, but you know
Yeah.
finally took that step into doing that.
That's a
Nah,
big
but I
step.
mean, especially having that core, that's big. That's huge with anything in
Mm-hmm.
life. Having that support system, those people that are going to be there when you're down, and uplift you and pick you up. So I mean, I'm glad that you at least had that, those people in your corner at
Mm-hmm.
such a young age. I mean, how soon, or I guess how fast? I don't know if in like a year's time or after things happened, were you able to see a therapist, or was this years later? How, I mean, you spoke on that, I was
Years
gonna
later.
ask, but I was curious on when.
Yeah. So it was years. Like I didn't really start. I just started seeing a therapist less than 4 or 5 months ago.
Mm.
And I feel like my coping mechanism as a kid or just growing up was just trying to stay as busy as possible. Right. Like we got so many sports we're doing. Once you get to college athletics, college football, it's like you really don't have no time to
Yeah,
be doing much of
zero
anything else
time.
other than like school, football. So you ain't got time to do nothing else. Um, but like what's crazy is I think about it, and we had gone to go see a therapist as a family. Myself, my brother Russell, and my mom. We had went to go see a therapist like in the months leading up to him passing, right? And not really knowing, I'm thinking, oh, we're just going to go talk to a doctor and kind of say how it is we're feeling. And I didn't really understand the concept of what a therapist was, but again, looking back on it, my mom had taken us to a family therapist to kind of prepare us for the inevitable of what was going to happen because he had a terminal disease. Like it wasn't something like, oh, you get the disease and then you bounce back from it. It's
Right,
once you get it, it's a for lack of better words, it's like a death sentence. And
right.
so she took us there, and still me being naive and being young, I'm thinking like, I'm not worried about it. We've been doing this for 10 years. He gonna bounce back. We're gonna be good. He gonna be on the sidelines on Saturdays. Watching us play football. It's not gonna be nothing. And then, like I said, the day came, and it was just like the 3 day process of it. My birthday was on a Wednesday. He passed on a Thursday. I got the news Friday after I got out of school from my mom, who had like went up to Columbus to be with him, and it was it. I could recall them 3 days as if like it happened last week. Like
Yeah,
that's I blacked out, but I remember everything still.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, that is some. I mean, I'm glad you're at least getting the help you need, even
For
though
sure.
it's, what I'm saying, not right after, but in due time. Obviously, finances are a thing,
Mm-hmm.
kind of mentally. Whenever you get out of that mental toughness era, and you like really want to get down to the nitty gritty and start to unpeel those
Mm-hmm.
layers back. I mean, that's awesome. That, I mean, in that 4 or 5 months time frame since you've been going, it's giving you more clarity, especially too,
Mm-hmm.
just the lifestyle we're in, like sports. You know what I'm saying? From when we grew up to whenever it's all said and done, it's like, what's next? Um,
Right. Right.
but yeah, even too, you had spoke on like those like mentors, father figures in your life.
Mm-hmm.
How, I mean, how impactful was that? Obviously, with the situation being, you've got at least male role models that are
Mhm.
telling you right from wrong, you know what I'm saying, putting you in a better position because unfortunately that was taken away from you. So I mean, what type of, I don't know, advice, what are the mentors, coaches, those people in your corner, what were
Yeah,
they kind
so
of?
I mean, and a lot of the mentors, and like I said, they all started off as like not started off, but like one of the first ones was my football coach when I was in fourth through sixth grade because our coaches just moved up with us in our youth system. So like you had the same coach up until you got to sixth grade, then you went to middle school, obviously. So that was when you were done. But the um the head coach of our football team, my fifth and sixth grade year, he knew my dad. My dad was at games. Like they were cool. They weren't like go out get a drink type of buddies or anything like that. But me and his son hung out. We both played offense and defense, so we were always together. And it was Tyler White, Zach. Just so you know,
Oh,
it was
okay, yeah,
it was
yeah,
it was
yeah,
his it was
yeah.
his pops, and took
Okay.
us in. Like it's actually funny. The night he passed away, or yeah, the night my father passed away, or it was that 2 day stretch when my mama left and then went to go see him. I stayed at his house. Like I was with them for the next 2 days until my mom got back because it was so sudden. But the mentors always were. It's like I latched on to coaches a lot. I mean, I'm around them all the time, especially once I got to high school. Football coaches, basketball
Uh-huh.
coaches, AAU. So like Damon Johnson, David Johnson over at Club Ohio, Zach.
Yep.
Um,
Remember
I'm
Damon.
still close with my high school football coach, my high school basketball coach. I'm close with, and I mean to the point to where like I text these guys like, "Hey man, Happy Father's Day" or "Happy
Right.
Birthday" or like call and check in
And
with them,
that's
like crowd.
and I think that's a big thing, especially for like young athletes, and I want to say young African American athletes is do we latch on to our coaches, and I don't think coaches really understand. That's why I love the position that I'm in, and I bet
Mm-hmm.
you can be the same. And Pancho, when you're a coach, I bet it's the same for you. Is like I love being a coach because I know how my coaches made me feel, and how I
Mm-hmm.
can still call my coach if I need something, or like you said, I text. Father, they just passed. Dude, I text every single one of the coaches that had an impact on my life, and I just had to
So
make sure that they knew that I appreciate them for everything they've done for me. Because I mean, I can speak. I can speak for myself here. But I wasn't always the best to deal with or the easiest to deal with. You know, so
I could
I
tell.
had I had to okay,
yeah.
but I had to let them know. I had to let them know that I appreciate that because like I was difficult. Like I was a difficult athlete to deal with. Not in the sense of I wasn't there disrespectful, but I questioned everything. Like you have to make even to this day though, you have to make everything make sense to me. Because if it doesn't make like if it's not common sense, then I okay, well tell me why. If you can tell me why, then I'll do it. But if you can't tell me why, I'm not doing it. And so yeah, I feel you on that when you latch on as a young
Mm-hmm.
African American male is to your coaches because they have such a big impact. Um, Not saying like I didn't grow up with my father. Fortunately, I did. And but
I know.
I was
Oh, we
still, you
know,
know what I mean. But I was
I
still
remember,
like the coaches though was still,
man. I
What was
remember
your
how
AAU
fiery your
squad?
dad was, Zach. It was Club Ohio.
Club Ohio.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I remember Zach. You gonna laugh when I say this. I remember how fiery your dad used to be at games in high school,
Oh man,
and we would always play y'all twice a year. And like our AD Marcus would go to the away games if we played at Middletown, and like he'd be able to spot Zach's dad. So when we had the home game with Middletown, it would be like a thing. They'd be like, "Hey man, where's Zach Edwards' dad at? Because we know we're gonna be dealing with him today."
he talking about he talking about my they talking about John Berg.
Hey,
That's
dog, I
hilarious.
was
John Berg, yeah, John
man.
Berg. He was
Set it
that
off.
Hey, it was to the point to where it was like, so how long you think he gonna make it in this game till we got to put him out? How
man
long we
to
think it's
like
gonna be?
man because he was on like he was like nonstop. But like he was engaged in the game, and that's a blessing. It was kind of annoying too sometimes because I just remember being at the free throw line and I missed. He's like screaming out why I missed. I'm like, dude, I just missed. I just missed. Stay on the line. Oh my god! And you can hear him over everybody. Like it doesn't matter
Right.
how loud it was in the arena, you can hear him.
He said,
Oh
keep
man.
God arm straight.
Yeah, bro.
Hey
I'm like,
man.
dude, I'm throwing this ball up here, man. Let me,
If it go in, it go in, man. Don't be
you know
telling
what
me
I'm
nothing else.
saying? Yeah.
All right, so let's hear it. What was the record looking like between y'all in high school? basketball wise. Talk about football too, but
Man, all I know is I got the last dub.
he got the last laugh, huh? Hey, you know what is funny, JT? Is
You were supposed to be on that Troy team. You were supposed to be on that Troy team and catch one too.
hey,
Like,
whoa, hold on.
yeah.
Nah, bro. It would have been
Hey,
a
you and
different
all your
story to say the
Fairfield
least.
friends better thank OSHA. That's what y'all just thank OSHA.
Hey,
Thank
you talking about the
OSHA.
buddy who went over and back?
All right. Yeah. All right. What's the next question?
Hey, to cap this off, everybody. So
What?
senior year 2012, JT and Zach, they meet up. I think in what is it, the districts?
No, it was
District
regionals. It was
It was
regional
regional.
regional
finals.
finals?
Regional
Regional finals?
semis.
My bad.
Semis.
Was it regional quarters or regional?
Semis.
No, regional
Regional
finals.
this semis. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
they met up. They played each other after Fairfield beat Troy, the the stage before, and
But I think, but
unfortunately,
like, didn't we beat y'all twice that year, right?
I think we only played y'all once that season actually, because we went to y'all place and y'all blew us out. Like y'all
Okay.
beat us something crazy at y'all place.
Okay.
I don't think we had a home and away that year regular season, so we met up for y'all the second time like at Centos. That was actually on my birthday. That was on my birthday senior year when we played y'all.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome.
No problem, man. I'll take it. I will take that. Take it to the
That's
grave
still
with
a
me too.
sore subject in Middletown, dude. Still to
I
this
know,
day.
man.
so I'm
To
gonna
I
this
let
know.
y'all
It's
finish
all right.
that out. But long story short, they was playing high school basketball. Your boy already done graduated college or graduated high school early, left out January, couldn't play basketball my senior year.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Troy Trojans go and plays Fairfield at UD. I think they only lost by like 8-10, something like that. Long story
Something around
short,
there.
your boy was in there who played since varsity, started sophomore, junior year, been playing AU. I think it would have been a different story. You know, you both would have, I would have had, haha, I
So
would
what
have
you
had a
said
laugh, laugh.
you were being selfish. You were being selfish and decided to leave early and not help your team
Mm-hmm.
out, and now you're making excuses.
I ain't gonna lie. Looking back, I do wish I
My
still
man's,
played because that'd have been a different story.
man,
But
you
all right, moving on, moving on. That's basketball. Let's talk about football, man. I mean, going into
sir,
high
let's do it.
school, um, I know you kind of said you started playing in fourth grade. What positions did you end up getting molded into? What did you start out with? I know in college you ended up having a scholarship to play defensive back.
Yep.
But as for high school, what that route looked like for sports
Yeah.
wise
So
for you?
starting out in fourth grade, we ran a wishbone offense. When we were kids. So I played fullback on offense, and then I was Mike linebacker on defense, right? Um,
Big dog.
that something like that, something like Ray Lewis out there. But we're gonna leave that for another day too. But now I started out at fullback and linebacker, and it was just like at fullback, you got the ball twice, maybe three times a game. So you better make the most of your carries if you end up getting the
Yeah,
ball. Otherwise, you were just like lead blocking.
you
But I
blocking
enjoyed defense. I
headache.
enjoyed defense a whole lot more. Enjoyed defense a whole lot more because I could determine how often I'm around the ball at that point, right?
Right.
So played that growing up. So fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, those were my two positions. Get to seventh grade and they split us up. We're at one middle school, but they split like we have so many kids, so they split us up into two teams, right?
That's like the
And
biggest district in the state.
yeah, one of the three. It's like us, Mason, and I want to say Mentor is like the other large school in the state. So they split us up, and I can't tell you how bad of a draw I got in seventh grade. Like all my boys who I played with growing up go to one team, and they put me on a team with like people who are just now starting to play, right?
So you was a
So
scrub.
you call it what you want, but it's not. They put me at quarterback. They put me at quarterback in seventh
Quarterback.
grade, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, bro, I'm scrambling for my life every Tuesday. I think was the day games was on in middle
Man.
school. Tuesday or
Yeah.
Wednesday, one of the two. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, God, this can't be forever, right? So seventh grade, I play quarterback, play a little bit of defense, but I'm too tired from running for my life on offense to play defense forever. And actually, so eighth grade comes, I'm still playing quarterback. They still split me up, got me on this team where I'm with like people who were just newer to the game. I'm not gonna say they were trash because that's just rude, but they're newer to the game. And I broke my left thumb. Yeah, my left thumb my 8th grade year, playing against who were we playing against? I think it was Coleraine or something like that in middle school. And
Season's
so
over.
They
Season's
were
over.
nasty. That
hey,
middle
bro, and the
school
middle school team was crazy.
the middle school team was crazy. I will say that.
Y'all
We
boy,
got cheated though, but the
mate,
middle school team was crazy.
and now when they had Joe and they had Joe running quarterback, and then they had Dre at running back. It was like, bro, like, come on, man,
Bro,
what are we
they were
doing here?
nasty.
And they still
Yeah,
running the triple option.
right. And they
Andre
had it down
Jones.
to a T.
Yeah,
You talking about? Oh,
yeah,
my dog Dre. Okay.
They had
yeah. It was
they
tough in
had
middle
Chris
school.
too. Chris
Mims.
wow.
Like,
He
like,
was a
come on,
man
man.
child in 8th grade.
Hey, y'all know, like, a triple option is meant to be like, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It was like
Nah, they
40 yards
house
in a cloud of
call.
dust.
They going to the crib.
Yeah. And then they all turn around and they all playing defense too. So it's like it didn't even make no difference.
No.
So,
You just fight for your life.
so when I broke my thumb every week. So when I break my thumb, I'm thinking like, screw this, man. I can't keep doing this. I'm not doing this in high school anymore. So I finished up that season after I couldn't play the last 3 or 4 weeks. And like I truly just got on a straight basketball. Like I'm strictly basketball. I'm not playing football no more. I had already been a year in the AAU. And I'm thinking like basketball is my ticket out of here, man. Like I'm not doing it. I did not play my freshman year of football. Like I literally just said like, nah, I'm only
I was say, I
basketball at
don't
this
think I
point.
remember you playing freshman year.
Nah, I did not play. And then my mom, she tugged on the heartstrings. She was like, it was my sophomore year, and she was like, your brother's a senior, JT. This could be the only year y'all could ever play football on the same team. And I was like,
Got you.
that's tough,
Come on.
right?
That hurts.
Yeah. Like, that's tough. So I decided to play. The head coach asked me, like, after my mom, he'd spoken to my mom behind my back is when I found out happened. He talked to my mom and said, like, hey, do you think JT will come out and play? So I ended up playing, and I feel like every person who believes they're an athlete, when you first start football, it's like, ooh, let's go play wideout. Let's go catch touchdowns, right? Everybody in the world wanted to do that. There was, I was a sophomore at the time, so I went over and I started off as a wideout, and then 2 weeks into camp, we're getting ready to finish up, and they said, JT, we got a bunch of receivers here. Like, we know you could play it, but we need some guys on defense. I was like, screw it.
Did y'all have Dante Dye on the team? Wasn't he a receiver over there too around that time?
Yeah, Dante Dye was there. He was a junior because he was just a year ahead of us.
Okay.
And then they had a whole bunch of like upperclassmen who played. It was just it was a crowded room of wideouts. So I said I'd go over play DB, and like I was my sophomore year, and where I kind of figured that I feel like I'd be all right is like 3-4 games into the season. Do you remember Jamil Scott Flip?
Yep.
Yeah, he got hurt the week that we're getting ready to play Princeton, and he got hurt. So they said, JT, you're going to have to start 3 games in. I was like, all right. Spencer Ware is the quarterback. Spencer Ware is the quarterback at Princeton.
Yeah, and thankfully I didn't play. I will say this. Thankfully, I did not play defense when he was in school. So,
dog.
Because he was
they put him at kick returner, punt returner, quarterback, running back, wide out, did everything.
I remember his senior year we went up there. His senior year we went up there, and I'm like, dude, this dude has not come off the field. And mind you, we got a loaded squad. Like, we got a loaded squad that year. Like, no, not my senior year, my sophomore year.
Your sophomore year was stupid.
Sophomore year, we had a loaded squad. And he did not come off the field. I'm like, bro, there's no way. But it made sense because he's making plays everywhere. I'm like, this dude is different.
Exactly. So, like, come to be my first interaction was against Spencer Ware my sophomore year. And that's how I was like, all right, so this ain't so bad. So I played it. Loved playing safety. It was like a safety rolled up linebacker type position. In the defense I was in, my first 2 years at Fairfield. So my sophomore, junior year. And then when Krause came over from Middletown and he started putting us in that 3-3-5, it was like I played the bandit position. So I was like weak side safety, but like, you know, people always run to the weak side, but
You tried to.
unfortunately, from where like my experience in high school with football was like, it was tough. Fairfield was not good at football while I was there. Like,
Not at all.
it was not at all, not at all, man.
I
It
make
was
jokes, but I was serious. Like there was like I said, I played with some dudes that were like dudes, especially high school level, and like I was young. They were telling me, "Oh yeah, we're gonna let you get your stats this game." So they used to call it a stat game, and I'm like, "Dang,
nah,
it really is."
nah,
Like,
it was bad.
and that's no disrespect,
It
but
was
like
bad.
we Fairfield, we're like, "Oh yeah, we good. We're about to get these stats. It's gonna be one of them weeks."
Yeah, and it was like my senior year was probably the worst of it. My sophomore year, we were 6-4. We were 6-4 my sophomore year, right? Like we tried to play Middletown tough, but like he said, they were loaded. Our sophomore year, so there was you weren't doing nothing. Like they beat y'all were the first ones to beat
Y'all
Coleraine
had
in like
Van
10 years.
too. Y'all had Van,
Yeah,
right?
Marquise was there. Dante Dye was there. My sophomore year, Aaron Chenault was there. My sophomore year. I'm trying to think. McCray was at quarterback. I'm trying to think, do we have any other D1 guys from that class? I don't think so.
But
I think
y'all
that was
had
it. Like,
dudes though. That was the thing. Like,
yeah, we were straight. Our sophomore year, we was straight. Once we lost all them guys, my junior year, we're back to guys who are really just out there just to like be part of the team. They didn't really care that much about football, right? So it was, like I said, we was getting mollywopped up and down the field for 10 weeks, and it was. I'm just glad I didn't get hurt during none of that time.
Right. I'm about to say that's the thing.
Man, was you just playing defense?
Yeah, I was strictly defense. I mean, I was out there. Like when we played teams like Coleraine, they'd have a 17-play drive and just do that 9 times throughout the course of the game and just wear you out. But I did defense, I did kick returns, and I did a little bit of like running back if someone got hurt or something like that. But it was strictly just safety and just trying to help with what we had at the time. It was just helping a lot of the young guys who were trying to get really into football and like trying to show them a good example. If you ask me anything, but I if you ask me, I was just out there like trying to just hustle my tail off on the field because I'm chasing people like Zach down. Got to chase people like Jalen Marshall down when they was there. It was like a track meet. Like the people were really like going off when we played them. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
He said, if anything, I'm gonna have to make a stop to it. I'm gonna have to catch these folks.
Somebody.
I'm talking like I gotta hawk someone down from the opposite side of the field, 60 yards down the field, just to see them score on the next play. Anyways, like, well,
did you have a few of those little track down hawks on your highlight tape?
I mean, yeah, I did, but it was like I think you put like maybe a couple of those on your tape just to show like, oh, he hustles, look at his like recovery speed and whatnot. Yeah. But last thing you want on your highlight tape is a bunch of like, oh, your team getting lit up for 70-yard runs. Like,
I was gonna say, from having a losing program that you're at, it's probably hard to get recruited. How do you? Yeah. How do you think they kind of? I don't know. You open the doors. How do you think you kind of got seen? I'm assuming your junior year. That's usually kind of the money year when people start to, see if they're going to be playing in college or not. Get those colleges come visit. Get those letters to come in.
For sure. So the best part about, like I said, my sophomore and junior year, outside of like, we didn't go to the playoffs or anything, but we did have guys like Aaron Chenault and Marquise Van who were bringing the coaches in. So luckily, like if we had games, they were playing, coaches would come, and if I got a chance to play, I did what I could on the field. And so I had a highlight tape my sophomore year. Then my junior year, one of the, I guess, blessings in disguise of having a team that, teams just run up and down. I'm on the field all day. So I had probably 100-some tackles my junior year, like easy money, 100 tackles, easily. And so, they're going to notice the one person who's around the ball the most. Right. Just like, it's very common to pick up on that. And then, to be honest, like I credit a lot of my recruiting, especially going into my senior year, because Coach Krause came over and he had the connections for the college football scene, man. I mean, with all the guys that he had put out from Middletown just in the recent years, with like Jerry Gates, obviously y'all had Nick McKnight over there. Jalen was there, when I say for a couple years with Krause. I mean, he knew everybody. And so because of, the lack of success we had at Fairfield, he told me, what you need to do is get to as many camps as you can that are going to be like right here in the, Midwest area. So I went to Toledo's camp, UC's camp, Miami's camp, because they had like satellite camps like at
And
Lakota
that's what
West High.
I was about to bring that up. Like back then, like you would go to one camp, but all them schools is there, and then it was those are the days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now it's not the same, right? So went to
money grab.
those. Went to Ohio State's camp. Like Harlan Barnett, he was at Michigan State, so I went out to Michigan State for their camp. Northwestern's camp, Illinois. So
you
went to
was
all
out
these
there,
camps.
out there.
Hey man, when I tell you, Tina, we got in the Toyota
Hey,
Avalon.
it's the road warriors.
I'm talking. We hit
like
Indiana.
You and a few other players.
Nah, this was just me and her. Get in the car and go. Like,
You and Mom Dukes?
Yeah, me and Mom
Really?
Dukes. There weren't that many other guys in my class who were like really bought into like, oh, I want to go do this for free at the next level. And my thing was just paying for college. Like, again, I understand my mom is a single mom, a teacher. A 4-year university school ain't in the budget, dog. Like, it's just not. So it was either you go to school for free or like, might be entering the military if you don't find something to do there. Like, it's just one of the two, right?
Right.
Nah, I mean the thing is, them camps ain't cheap either. I mean, so for your mom to, I'm saying, fork out $150 gas, I'm saying, to get from point A to point B. I mean, it's one thing, going to a few, but you got your name out there, bro. I mean, that's something where a little, not to say small investment, where your mom, I'm saying, she's putting a couple $1,000s into these camps or whatever to get you noticed. I mean, at least it paid off in dividends.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to scholarships. So I mean, that's awesome, especially as a single mom, being able to fork out stuff like that just for my son because he loves the game or wants. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad she actually like seen the dream and was able to kind of push you in that direction where she's going to support you. I mean, as mom do, she's going to support you in any way.
For sure. And she's always been that way. She's like that to this day. But like I said, we hit the road. We went to these camps. And we would just like it was bonding time for us. My brother was already off at college at Mount St. Joe. So like we would just like kick it. Whether if we got a hotel, we would, or we would just come back the same day because hotels wasn't cheap. And the crazy thing about it is like these camps normally fell at the same time like AAU basketball was. So it's like if I wasn't going to a football camp, we were going to Fort Wayne, Indiana for an AAU tournament. So, and those trips, she would like, I'd go off with a teammate for the weekend and just like be with them, and she would stay back. But yeah, it's the amount of sacrifice parents go through for stuff like that, and we don't even realize it until we get older. But, recruiting trail was just crazy. It was crazy.
I mean, you with that recruiting though, I mean, like you ended up at Akron on a D1 full ride. I mean, that's a lot of people work for that, man. So that's congrats to that, and thanks for Mom Dukes for getting you around everywhere, man. For sure.
Man.
But like run us down like a little bit of how that experience was at Akron. Like, I mean, you away, now you out of the nest. So I know it was kind of hard for moms having both her boys out.
Hey, she talked a lot about like, well, I'm an empty nester now. She always said like, I can't wait to be an empty nester, but I know. Knowing her, she loved having us around the house. She loved being a mom. But when I finally committed to go to Akron, obviously she was probably more excited than I was. Like it was cool for me, but she knew what it meant for me to to accomplish a goal like that, and kind of what all's going to come with it. I'm going to school for free. I'll be able to get a degree for free. Granted, I make sure I capitalize on the opportunity. But it was awesome in that idea of like. I'm taking this next step to where like I can grow up, become a man, be away from the house. But football wise, man, I mean, I don't know if y'all knew this before. Akron was trash. like even my first year and a half we were there, it was honestly it felt a lot like Fairfield, dog. Like, I'm being so brutally honest. Like they were 0-11 the year I got there.
Yeah, they tried to get me to come up there. I said, yeah, I can't do that.
No,
Okay.
I did.
Hey, it was tough.
I had an offer from Akron too. But as for like, I guess was that your first offer? I did want to ask that. What other kind of offers did you end up having?
So I had Akron that came out, a couple smaller D2s. I had a walk-on offer at Northwestern, but Northwestern ain't cheap to just go and walk on up there in Chicago, so I wasn't doing
Mhm.
that. And then who else was it? Miami offered, but they were terrible at recruiting Cincinnati at that time. They had like no real Cincinnati kids on the team. And then who else from the MAC? Maybe it was like not UMass because they weren't in it yet. Toledo. Toledo was the other one. I ain't like Toledo's campus though. Like the Glass Bowl, that area up there is just like it wasn't for me. But I chose Akron. Not to like if you all were gonna ask it, I chose Akron because like the business school was like top notch. Northeast Ohio is like one of the better known business schools. I know the Linder College of Business at UC is amazing as well. But like my thing was I wanted to get away from home so I could grow up a little bit and still be in a good program to where I could like graduate with a degree that meant something. And so Akron was a great spot to be. They hired on a whole new coaching staff when I first got there, so that also helped. Terry Bowden was the coach, and we
Oh,
had some like we had some heavy hitters as like assistant coaches on that staff. I mean, Terrell Buckley played for the Patriots, played for the Packers, went to Florida State with Dion. He was the DB's coach. Todd Amato, or no, Todd Stroud coached with Bobby Bowden. Chuck Amato coached with Bobby Bowden. It was Terry Bowden and his brother were on the staff. So we had, I mean, hundreds of years of experience on the staff.
right.
They were all old for the most part. So it made the decision a little bit better on the football side. But, like I said, as far as football that first year was, well, out here getting our tails beat in again for the first year. So, like, we was able to turn it around. So it was cool.
So your head coach, you said a new coaching staff after the first year.
No, no. So like as I was getting there, so like that spring of 2012, they had hired on Terry Bowden and a new staff. So like I was their first full season, with the new staff.
How did your offer come? Was it from the past
Uh,
coach, or was
but
it
it came
from
from
the
the
new?
past coach. Yeah, Rob Ianello offered me at the satellite camp at Lakota West. Me and y'all know Mike Means.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's my
You
guy.
see, guy. Hey,
Hey, we got offered the same
Nah,
day at that camp.
the Mike Means, dude, him and Monty almost got me over there at Moeller my senior year.
oh my bad. I'm thinking of Mike Mickens.
Yeah,
Mike,
but nah, they almost got me.
my mom gave me the choice. Coming out of middle school, she's like, do you want to go to like Moeller, St. X? And like, no lie, my answer to her was, I'll never go to a private school. I can't do that all boy stuff all day. I'm not doing it. Not doing
Yeah.
it. Ain't no way. And I and even throughout high school, I was just like, I'm not one of these people. I'm not gonna live. I can throw a rock and pretty much hit Fairfield High School from where I live. I'm not gonna drive all the way downtown for high school every day.
High
I'm
school,
just not.
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. We got it all right here. And like, granted, Moeller, X and M were like athletic teams were great. College coaches go to those games on a weekly basis for all kinds of sports. But I said if I'm gonna make it, if I'm gonna get to college, I can do it right here at Fairfield.
Right.
I don't have to go to Moeller or nothing.
I got you.
What made you choose the, I guess, business college? Want to pursue that path? Like your mom, just you've heard
Nah,
from the recruiting that it was a really good business school. What made you choose the business route as the pursuit?
yeah, so with my mom being a teacher, she kind of helped me. She like said like, hey, if you're gonna think about the school you want to go to, look into the academics, what programs they have and what you think you'll be interested in. But my dad was a businessman. He was in insurance. He worked for Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. So he was like, suit, shirt,
Mm-hmm.
tie every day to work. And so I'm thinking like, why not? Why not be like Pops in this fashion, right?
So that's what
So
you know.
yes, it's what I saw every day. So I was like, why not just go that route? So went into business, and with business, a business degree, you like get the overall encompassing, like, oh, well, you get sales, you get marketing, you get I got analytics, I got math, I got a little bit of everything. And I was cool with that. I hated accounting. Don't get me wrong, I would never be an accountant. I hated that class. But everything else, just like you went to a sales class too, of course. And so I went that route, and I was just I'm one of those people, like once I decide on something, I'm just gonna like stick it through, see it out, and I'm not gonna quit on it, right? So I did that, enjoyed it. We met a lot of people. I'm still connected with some of them people on LinkedIn, Marcus. I know we were talking earlier about that, um, and that really helped me out. And that's mainly the reason why I chose business. Just looking at Dad, seeing him in a suit and tie, and just saying, "Yep, pretty easy choice there." Outside of like the research I did on the business college they had.
I mean, not a lot of people do research on, you know what I'm saying, what they're going to do going into college. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, when we're, I guess, college, high school athletes, like, all you, hey, I'm going to the NFL, I'm going to NBA, or whatever it is.
Oh,
They're
don't get me
not
wrong.
thinking about what that little free scholarship 4 years can do for the rest of your life. I mean, because that was where I started in the Linder College of Business.
Mm-hmm.
My first year, I think it might have even been a quarter or semester. I don't know. It was a little challenging to say the least.
Hey.
So I went to the academic advisor. I heard all these things. Oh, people in criminal justice, sports administration. I'm like, I like sports. Let me go down this route. And got an easy degree, and I ended up finishing. I got a minor in sales, but like, I don't know. Looking back, I like kind of just did the easiest route, picked the easiest
Mm-hmm.
thing, which a lot of people fall down. People don't do research for whatever path they more so want to choose at the age of 17, 18. Like they just kind of pick whatever's easiest.
And that's kind of like, I mean, y'all can agree or disagree, but I feel like that's how, like, as a D1 athlete, you were kind of conditioned to like take the easy route because you're there for football or you're there for whatever sport you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're not sitting here telling you like, oh, but after football, again, they tell you have a backup plan, but they're not telling you after football you might want to go down this route because this is probably a better opportunity for you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I mean, I loved our academic team because I had started off in English was my major because I wanted to be an English teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I came in, I wanted to do PT, I want to do physical therapy. So kinesiology was on my radar, but then I couldn't do the hour. So I'm like the practical hours or whatever it was. I'm like, okay. So yeah, so you had to figure it out. I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I'm very good at English. You know what I mean? I'm like, let me go be an English teacher. Come to find out I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do those hours. I couldn't do teaching hours. So I'm like, dude, what? So now I end up going into health communication, like community health. Because I wanted to, I mean, it panned out. I mean, I'm not in that field now, but it panned out to what my envision for the rest of my life, how I want to be. Like I want to get back into counseling, because I was from Middletown and there was so many drug problems going on. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
dang, how can I get back? And that was one of the routes that they were telling me, like, you can go to this because you learn about all the diseases, whether it's mental health, just communicable diseases, like airborne. It teach you about everything. So I mean, I eventually found something that I knew I would enjoy. But yeah, I feel like I don't know how it is now, but I know then you were conditioned to do whatever's easiest so you can focus on your athletics.
They make you fit your educational
Yeah,
experience into football as opposed to
yeah.
like fitting football to education.
Does it fit your football schedule? No.
Like think
Well,
about it.
can't
Like
do it.
we couldn't do internships in like the summer of college because we got summer classes, we got summer workouts, we got this, that, and the other
Uh-huh.
to do. So while every other student's able to go get an internship or go get experience in the working world, we're not able to do that.
And if you were, it had to be at that school. Like you couldn't outsource the internship. You had to be
Mhm.
at that school. You know what I mean? And that
Mm-hmm.
find somebody at the school that you can go that'll fit around your hours. Like, what if I
Exactly.
want to get experience something else? Like
I
different
had
networking.
one I had one job my like second or third year while I was in college. It was just like at this like school supply like factory that was like in Medina. I went there. I was just like packaging stuff up for like 4 or 5 hours, and this was like I'd wake up at 6, go to lifting, finish up lifting, shower, get ready, and go straight into work. And I'm on my feet for another 5 hours. And like I did one summer of that and said, nah, a physical job or a job like this ain't worth it. It's
Did
not
they
like,
make y'all do summer school? Because I know we had to have certain hours for summer school.
oh
So it
yeah.
was like, because I had a job too. One year. Is I worked at a Finish Line. It was inside of Macy's though, so it was like a hub, but it was Finish Line,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be 6 a.m.s class. Gotta get ready for
Then
work,
clocky.
and then by the time this was in Tri County, so I had to drive to Tri County. Then once I got off, drive back to Cincinnati, and it's like, dang, by the time I get settled in, I gotta go to sleep and get right back up. So yeah,
It's funny.
that's
You probably saw the last of Tri County's good days then.
I did. Yeah, it was because now it's ghost town.
Hey,
No.
Tri County. After college or after I stopped playing, I ended up getting some work experience because I never worked
Really?
before. Started serving at B-Dubs on campus, but then I also picked up another job because I had more time on my hands. Kind of did it here and there, but it was at Finish Line at Tri County. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the actual
Soup
finish.
club,
You said what?
The actual
soup
finish
club.
line.
Yeah. Nah, it was definitely a shoe. That's the reason why I worked there. I was like, if I'm gonna be buying shoes anyways, why don't I just get a discount? But also I could put it to the side.
Yeah.
So
Don't even give me a check. Just take whatever money I got and what shoes can I get with it. That's the
Yeah.
real thing.
right. But no, it was cool. I mean, but I did feel like behind the eight ball, like work wise, just because like I don't know, even when you're applying for jobs, looking at certain things on the like criteria and things like that, it shows like 2 years
Experience.
experience. And it's like that's a big eyeball. Like I just stopped playing college football. Like I ain't got no experience. What you mean? I mean, I want to, you know what I'm saying, better myself, but also how do I get experience without not even having the opportunity to, you know what I'm saying, get out
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
I,
that was tough. That was definitely tough. Um, I'm not sure how y'all got y'all's entry into like the workforce after y'all finished playing. I mean, and what happened with me was I finished up in 2016, and I was really close with the athletic director at Akron. Once I got there, because director route was the route I wanted to be an athletic director, but I knew from doing some research is like if you go in and get a sales background, because what you're doing as an athletic director is pretty much selling an athletic department to the community, to the staff, to the students to kind of build the program up, right? You're fundraising, raising a lot of money. So there's a business side to it that I was thinking of going. So I got close with him. And my junior year at Akron, he left and took a job in like sports marketing and sponsorship down in Dallas. So like I graduate. I got my undergrad after my true junior year and got my master's in that following year for my last year after I redshirted after tearing my ACL. And my first call, or one of my first calls, was to him and said like, "Hey, like, do you guys have anything that could help like that you guys would take somebody in with low experience?" And he found me a job, and granted, it was like in a very entry level internship position, but he found me a job, and I moved to Dallas like 3 weeks after graduating from Akron, and
It's
was
huge.
mom made the trip. We flew down, we found an apartment, got me settled in, and yeah, like I said, started working 4 weeks after graduation, which again is it's a blessing to be able to find a job that soon after graduation
right.
because a lot of people are just up in there looking for a job for months or however long it may be,
Mm-hmm.
just to find a job that they probably don't like. I landed in sports, so I was blessed at that point.
Right.
Yeah. Nah, even too, I mean, we talked about earlier, just getting that little change you need outside of those hours where you're being told what to do, when to do it, how to do it during college. Um, I mean, to go all the way out to Dallas, I mean, that's awesome. Just for you to actually have that at what would you, 22 years old, 23
Yep.
years old.
22.
And even too, I mean, networking wise, like you utilize your network in college. You
Mm-hmm.
use the resources that, you know what I'm saying, were given to you, the people that were available. And that was something where looking back, I wish I would have just, I don't know, networked more, been more open to, I guess, engaging in conversations, shaking hands, and just
Mm-hmm.
being out there. I guess more so even too after I stopped playing, it was kind of a little dark hole, I guess. Just didn't really want to be out and about trying to shake hands and kiss babies and all that. But um, But nah, that's good that at least you stay connected with the guy that got you down to Dallas, kind of spread your
Mhm.
wings a little bit. But we didn't really get to touch on, like, I guess, sports wise. How was the route you took? I know you had mentioned tearing your ACL
Mhm.
with
Yeah, I was
college.
about to ask a question about that. Like, what you saying? I mean, we talked about like one of your hardships in life was losing your father.
Yep.
Um, Being an athlete. I mean, Pancho, we talked about this on the first episode with you. Like, how was that? Because I mean, I was fortunate enough to where I didn't have to sustain a serious injury that kept me out. I mean, I partially tore my hamstring that had me out for 3 games, but I didn't have like a season-ending injury. But like
Mhm.
I guess we talked about my Poncho and how it affected his mental state. Did that have an effect on you mentally at all? Like as far as like, I know you
Yeah.
didn't once your father passed, you didn't want to play football. Then you end up earning
Mhm.
scholarship. So I mean, did that thought creep back into your head like, dude, I'm done with football?
So surprisingly, it didn't.
Okay.
It was probably one of the like outside of losing my father and losing some other family members I did at a young age. It was probably one of the scarier moments because I mean I've been hurt before. I've gotten injured, but like a season-ending injury is different. Like literally, like the doctor came up while I was on the field, and Marcus, I'm not sure if you remember the test, but they shift like your knee and like your quad, and like it was just like visibly just moving. And the doctor said like, "Oh no, nah, you tore your ACL," and like they're very straightforward and blunt about it. They don't like sugarcoat it. They're like, "No, you're done for the rest of the year." And so
Yeah,
like
that's exactly how
I
mine
was
went.
distraught. I was distraught in the moment, and I was just mom being mom. We at Miami playing. Y'all know over at Yager Stadium. She see me get hurt. She see me on the tape. Mom's hopped the fence. She don't need no security clearance or nothing. She
Nah,
hopped
she
the fence. She
good.
on the side. Hey, so mom's on the sideline, and like we get the news, and like I'm distraught. Go back in the locker room, and like I had to get dressed, and obviously like cheer the team on for the rest of the game because there was still, we still had business to handle. But like not ever playing football never creeped back into my mind because at this point I'm 19 years old, obviously much more mature than I was at 10 years old. And, only thing I can think of, like the first thing that came to my mind is like, I don't go to church every week, but it was like, my faith is going to be able to get me through this piece of it. So, the first thing that came to my mind was like something my mom said to me before I got on the bus to drive back up to Akron. She said, if God brought you to it, he going to see you through it. Right.
Mm.
So I'm on the bus, and that's like the only thing I'm thinking about for the entire 4-hour bus ride home. I'm just like, all right, like, ain't nothing I can do about it now. Knees torn up. Got seen by the doctor. I had surgery 4 weeks later. And I mean, it just, at that point, it was just like, when can I get back? Like, how I had surgery, and it was like, how fast can we, not necessarily how fast, but like, how much work can I actually do healthily to like make sure I'm doing what I need to so I can get back on the football field. So, the idea of quitting football never crossed my mind. But I did start to think further ahead because the NFL was everybody's. I mean, I feel like if you're playing college football, the idea should be somewhere in your head, right? Like,
Right.
I'm not just here just so I can, get beat up for 4 or 5 years.
Right.
I started to think ahead at this point. So it's my sophomore year and couldn't play football the rest of that season. And I got cleared 6.5, 7 months after tearing my ACL. And so I was back and able to play, but I went and sat down with my advisor and I said, what are my options here? Advisor had been there for 20 some years. So she'd been in this situation with kids before. And so she said, depending on what you want to go into your master's for, JT, you could honestly, if you redshirted this season, you could graduate after technically your third 3.5 years in with your undergrad, and then we can do your entire master's your like redshirt senior season. I was like, so you mean tell me I could walk out of here with my master's degree, based off of being here 4.5 years? She was like,
No question.
you take care of business in the classroom, like well, who mom's is, that's not gonna be a problem. You ain't got to worry about
Right.
that piece.
No.
So after being cleared, my coaches said like, all right, you ready for the season? I said, like, I don't know, Zach, y'all know this, but like coaches really don't want upperclassmen to redshirt.
No.
They'll be like, nah, we need to burn this. Like, we
You
need to
did that
get you like either on
scholarship.
the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We need that scholarship. I told him like I'm not playing this season. Like I'm on a red shirt. I'll do whatever it is y'all need me to do on scout team. I'll give the offense a little, give the defense a little, whatever y'all need, I'll do it. But I'm gonna redshirt this year. I'm gonna make sure my knee is straight. I'm not just gonna rush back into it. And like I said, I was able to get ahead in school. I was able to graduate early. And I was able to, like I said, start my master's degree my senior year, so January 2016, and graduated with that December of 2016. It was out of there. So it was that the tearing my ACL, like to come back to it, Marcus, my bad, was probably the best thing that could have happened to me at that point because it made me think, 2.5 years ahead as opposed to like, oh, we got who are we playing the next week? I think we went and played UMass the week after Miami, but that wasn't important at that point because I wasn't going to be playing. So it was tough. Don't get me wrong. That ACL rehab is, Marcus, that ain't nothing to play with.
Ain't no joke. No joke at
Nothing.
all. I didn't even finish my rehab. I was about 6 months in. Nothing happened. 6 months in, we did spring break. I went to Panama. It was by the pool. I over here slipped. I was about six months in the rehab process.
Oh
That month
my!
swole. That big knot on my
He
knee,
talking about, bro.
bro.
You think I retore, bro? Yeah.
I I freaking sent a picture to Emmy or the trainer back. I don't know why I sent the picture. I should have just came back like I came out the car wrong. I don't know. But
Man,
yeah, I
bro.
sent it while I'm down in Panama City Beach, and that was the end of my college football career. Came back, tried to do it,
PCP.
tried to get back into
PCP.
practice. I couldn't get it, and then I just said screw rehab, and yeah. But no, I mean, as for that fortitude, that mental side of things, like I just went straight downhill. Like it wasn't thinking about the future. It was just let me put my head down, and I'll just try to get it to the next day. And I don't know, for you to, I mean, tell your story and share your side of things, to actually, what I'm saying, envision certain things that are capable, and especially too having like the academic advisors on your side. I remember when it
Yeah.
happened. I mean, yeah, I would have got another medical red shirt and this and that, but um, I don't know, I didn't. So I ended up graduating in 3.5 years or so, and kind of getting that master's under scholarship, bro. There's a lot of people that take advantage of that. Even when they're redshirt freshmen just coming in, having just 5 years, you get an extra medical too. That's
Man.
6 of them. But I
Yeah,
think
and
you
it's
only did 5 years, right?
yeah. So
You
I
didn't
did.
redshirt your freshman year,
No,
if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it was like the coolest thing. Like, oh, I'm a freshman. I made the travel team. It was like my only goal freshman year was like make the
Yeah.
travel team. Freshman year, we played our big games that year. We played at UCF was like one of our first games, but they came here. But week 2, we played at Tennessee, night game, like down in Knoxville.
That's
It's just
probably
like,
rocking.
hey,
Mhm.
That
man,
was
the
rocking.
Southern
I
Mhm.
know about
Mhm.
that.
hospitality is crazy, right? So, set night game, night before at the hotel. Fans from Tennessee stayed at the hotel we at. Nicest people in the world, Friday night. Saturday
Saturday
come, boy, they don't play.
at all.
They do not play. Same people you saw the night before, cussing you
Nah.
out, talking about how y'all about to get killed today, like all of it. So
Yeah.
I just wanted I wanted to perform, make sure I made it on special teams, so I could just like be on the field for that
The
game. So
experience. Man, that's
Oh, bro, yeah. Even just being under them lights in the stadium like that, I can't imagine. That SEC football is totally different, especially them fans, the
yeah,
tailgate
especially
bases.
down south. They take I mean, we take football serious here, but they eat, sleep, breathe, die by
Mhm.
their
hey,
sports
and
team.
it's ridiculous down that way. So that was the motivation behind that first year, trying to just get on the field. And then like obviously after that, sophomore, junior, senior year, it's like all right, like it's this is where I really want to try and make sure I can contribute, whether it's on special teams, from rotating in, if I'm getting some clock in at safety. I didn't really get my true first like starting experience until my senior year after the ACL injury. Um, But like, I got to go to Michigan. We played at Michigan. We played at Wisconsin. Played at Penn State, Oklahoma. Let's see, what was the other one that we played at? We played at Pittsburgh as well. So we got going like that was part of the
Akron was
Big East
definitely
planet.
Akron was taking all them big trips. And I'm thinking to myself, why Akron doing all these trips?
Just to get. No, oh yeah, they get like big. I
Yeah, all
seen
right, that money, yeah. Big on
BG's
moving
coming
these
to
days.
UC in 2026, and that's a $500,000 bid for them to just come down. So I mean, I'm sure Akron was like, yeah, let me get all that
I need
cheese.
all that.
Bro, we went
JT
to
has
Michigan and we found out later it was like a $1.2 million check Michigan gave us, and we took them down to the last play.
Yeah, that was. I remember that year because I was like, why is
We took
Akron
them down
playing
to the
Michigan?
last play.
And then ooh, that was scary.
nah, that is
Michigan
crazy.
said,
For
we
that
won't
cheese
do
though,
that again.
They took Akron off
for
the
that
schedule for
bread.
good. They're gonna play App State.
Yeah,
Hey,
then
look.
you see how that worked out for them.
Yeah,
Hey, look, and let me tell you something. App State wasn't nothing to play around with either in college while we was there.
Nah.
Them boys was like best offensive line I saw in the 5 years I was in college.
They're hungry too,
Better
man.
than
They
Wisconsin.
wanted to
Better
be
than
known.
Wisconsin.
Like, that's big. That's major.
Hey, when you got a tackle from App State getting to the third level, and he's just like mauling.
Yeah, you got to dip and rip.
Hey.
hey, they get inside them. Look, it's
It's a
over.
wrap.
Hey,
Inside them
nothing you can do.
shoulders.
Rope
You
or
can
dope.
start chopping at the hands, but they're not going nowhere.
Nah.
They're gonna take you on a ride. Come here, man.
Hey JT, what can you I mean tell the folks, you know what I'm saying, high school want to play college ball. I mean playing as a freshman and not redshirt, and that's I can say in my class, I think there was only about 4 people that played out of a 32 person class. So what kind of separated yourself in order to get you on the field as a freshman and not utilizing that red shirt? Some people were like, yeah, let me just go through the workouts. Let me try to get bigger. Like you seem like you had a drive on you to make you want to play as a freshman.
Yeah, so going into my freshman year, again, I had a really good relationship with Jason Krause. And he said, like, hey, if here's a couple pieces or tips or advices I can give you. It's like you want to play safety, you probably gonna want to be right around in this weight. Make sure your speed is at a certain point. And then main thing he said was, as a freshman, you got to be open to any and all ways that you could get on the field. Like if it's on special teams on kickoff, if it's on kick return. And let me tell you something, front line on kick return is probably the most daunting position on a football field because you have some maniacs running down the field at you. Not this like new style kickoff they got, but the way we was doing it.
So I'm gonna tell you one thing. I will purposely mess up in kickoff return drills. I will I purposely mess. Like and Marcus Poncho, me. I try to be the best at everything, but that no. I'm like, come on. I ain't even about to play with y'all. I ain't about to play with y'all.
That is funny,
Hey,
JT, because I was on the front line too for the kickoff return, and I was like, right there, yeah. If they do this onside kick, boy, hey, I better make sure I got this because ain't nobody else.
I was cool. I was cool with onside kick. It was when
I was on
we
hands
would have
team.
like, let's see, yeah, that's onside kick is fine.
I actually got 2 returns. I got 2 returns my junior year from hands team. I got cussed out with my first one. We was playing UConn.
You probably just supposed to fall on it.
I snatched. I tried to get loose. Didn't happen. I got cussed left and right.
Nah, but it was Marcus. You like being on the front line. It's when you set up that return left or return right, and if you part of one of them double teams on the psycho kid on the other team who don't get no tick either, he's not running down looking to make the tackle.
No,
he's down there in his head,
right through you.
He's down here, and you trying to set up a double team, so you trying to trust him that he gonna be in his spot, and if he's not there, and you take him on head on by yourself, it's over. Yeah. It's over.
And on film, it just looks bad on you. Hey, you the one on your back.
I'll say I remember that.
Hey, and y'all know that the funniest part about
you lying. Zach over here. Don't believe a word Zach says, folks. He telling straight lies.
Man, you get into the meetings on what we play Saturday, so meetings on Monday after the game, and if you
Head down.
messed up, it's the worst thing that you remember because you walk in on Monday like, I just know he gonna highlight this play. They get that
Mhm.
pointer out, JT. Hey, it, they already know what happened. They just be like, tell me what you were thinking here.
What were you thinking here? Yeah, that's the word. What were you thinking? I wasn't thinking nothing. Help me. That's what I'm thinking. Help me.
I'm trying to get through this play, coach. Like, they got a
Yeah.
6'7" defensive end running down on kickoff, and you want me to do what with him? Like,
Full
what do you
speed.
want me to do with him? Like,
Right. Nah, bro. That
so
was some good
yeah, that
time.
kickoff wasn't no joke. But that's what I did to get on the field. Special teams, I said, yeah, just like wherever y'all need me at, punt team, kickoff return. Loved kickoff. Kickoff was cool, but even the dogs wanted to be on kickoff for real because it was so much fun. But just found every way to get on the bus. Pretty much is what my mantra was. Get on the bus however you can.
Right. Nah, I mean, in college too, I was kind of looking up some things. Come your senior season, you're starting on kickoff return. Even started a few as defensive back for a few games.
Yep.
But the big thing I'd kind of seen was like even too like the academic side. So can you speak on that a little bit? Yeah, I know you were like all American, co-side academic team.
Right.
What made you want to? Because in college, you just got to pass. But what made you
Right.
want to? What I'm saying, take it to that like elite level academically. What made you want to? I don't know, get good grades on that end of things.
Sorry about that. My mom literally just called in, so I had to deny the call real quick. So
Oh,
we
you're. I was
Good.
like, dang, we about to have to edit this out.
Nah. So my mom just called it, so I just denied that. But what kind of put me in that mode was my mom was a teacher. I was, academically driven from the time I was a kid. So it's like, they ask you when you get to college, can your mom or your parents have access to like your reports or your grades and whatnot? And I was like, nah, don't worry about that. She's not gonna need to see it. Like, because if I brought home a B in high school, mom's was mad. So like at that point, it was already ingrained in my own head to where
You want to be average? No, I don't.
Hey, you and my mom was the same, bro. I better
Bro.
not have no
Hey,
B's on that grade card.
Bro.
Straight
don't even,
A's.
I was in
So like,
play.
hey, I think I graduated high school with like a 3.8 or something like that. So, and I thought high school was easy. Like I never thought school was hard to be per se.
You had to put the
if you
effort
put
in.
forth, if you put forth the effort in high school, it's like, bro, that's a B plus if you just put the effort in. If you want to go over and above, you can get an A. So I had a good GPA coming out of high school, which again makes the recruiting trail that much easier because coaches don't have to worry about that piece of it. But once I got to college, it was just a lot of the same. Just like I got into my, the school of the college, the business school after my first semester of college, and like you, Marcus, I stepped into my calculus with business applications class first day. Boy, I ain't never seen something run around my head that fast. I was out
Oh,
within like 48 hours. I said, nah,
hmm.
that class ain't gonna work. I can do that maybe another semester. That's not gonna work right now. Not gonna work right now. So, but at that point, like my sophomore, my junior year, my junior year, my senior year, it was just like I was coming off of the ACL, so it was just like I buckled down in the classroom to a point to where it was, making sure I'm taking care of this. While football was pretty much on pause, I was still training, I was still practicing, but while that was on pause, it was, double time on the classroom, making sure school was great, making sure I was like lining up to where I could graduate early, and then graduate early for my undergrad and then start my master's on time. But like once I got to my master's, like I did sports administration for my master's degree. So like that's where I was doing the coaching. I was taking like the health classes and whatnot. And I feel like once you get into your master's degree, you're in a bubble with like students who like that's what they want to do too. So it's a really good learning environment because everybody's engaged. This is what people want to do with their livelihood. The instructors and the professors in those classes, this is their profession more times than not too. So they're very bought into it. So it's a lot easier to learn when everyone's on the same page. So that's kind of that fell into place. But it was a bunch of like reports. It was a bunch of presentations. I love public speaking, so it was a little bit of that as well. So like I was able to my senior year, the summer and that fall, I loaded up. I think I did like 21 credits in the summer, like 18 credits in the spring. And then my last semester, I think I did another like 14, 15. And like it was probably my favorite year of college, honestly, because everything was just rolling at that point. Played football, got to travel, got to go to some great games. Ended up getting a job, so all that stuff was cool. But it was like I said, it was just ingrained in me as a kid. Like take care of school, and everything else would just fall in place.
Right on. Right on.
What's up?
No, I mean, so is there anything else you want to touch on football wise, Zach, or JT, anything we missed?
Football wise, it's like obviously I didn't even like after why you only saw in there like 3 games. I think is what I ended up starting or playing in mainly at DB my senior year was in that Wisconsin game in the first half. I like re-tore up a bunch of cartilage in my left knee, the one that I tore. So I was in on a play, came down. I was like, something ain't right. I know this feeling, like it feels the same. And I didn't play the rest of that game. We were at Marshall the next week after Wisconsin. So I went to the doctor. Everything was cool. Like I said, just tore up some cartilage. So I had to sit out the next week and a half, which was, senior year is not fun, but I did it anyway to make sure I was good to go. And made it through the rest of the season. Was never really the same after that, just because once your cartilage and your knees start to go, everything hurts. Like walking hurts sometimes, running definitely hurts. But I, at that point, decided, again, it's me thinking ahead when I feel like I'm in a hard spot is what do I really want to do in my life, after football? Because at this point, going to the NFL is you can do the whole undrafted free agent or like go to the pro day or whatever. But at that point, I was thinking like, do I want to go play football still, or do I want to be able to run around with my kids one day when I actually have them and like kind of preserve my health as long as possible? And I chose the latter of the two. So I went, got through the rest of the season, graduated. So like I said, in the means to an end, football got me through school, got me to some great experiences. I met some amazing people. And then from there, it was, it kind of catapulted me into my professional career because of the connections I made from it. Not necessarily what I knew, because like we said, we weren't able to have internships and things like that, but it was who I knew. Like if I had a director, Marcus, like I'd be in Cincinnati, probably still to this day. Like it was a leap of faith to be able to do that. So it was I'm thankful for football for that. And then full circle, thankfully my dad signed us up behind my mama back when I was in 4th grade. So
Nah, for sure, bro. That's awesome. I mean, amazing story just to see where you are now and back in the hometown where you were born. So
yeah,
come
it's
full circle, it
crazy how that
all
works.
God's
come
plan.
full circle from not wanting to play anymore to it getting you prepared for life. You know what I'm saying? That's
Like
the
it's
thing
crazy.
about football. Like, I can't speak on every sport. We grew up playing multiple sports, bro. But I think football is a true testament and a true avenue to prepare you for life if it's done the right way. Because it's one of the few sports where you get people from multiple backgrounds, not just like basketball team is like 12, 15. Entire football team, there's people from different walks of life. And I think personally, when you really dive into that and you're really open to talking to people and meeting people, that prepares you for life after football. I mean, and it's life, if you want to get ahead, it's all about how personable you can be, in my opinion. I mean, people get by the way they might, but I think for me, who do you know and how well do you have a relationship with them? And then can you be accepted around people? But like genuinely accepted, not putting on fronts to be who you are, but genuinely accepted. And I think if you dive into making those connections and being open to knowing people, football could take you so far in life. Even like you said, you barely played in a sense at the collegiate level, but it's like you said, catapulted you to where you are now.
Right. And it's I couldn't agree more with that sentiment. It's regardless of like the trials or the hard times you go through in football, getting injured, like the whole adage of like, oh well, you get hit, you get knocked down, you got to get back up. It's like that's football every 7 seconds, like
Yeah.
every 7 seconds. So it's mentally it's in your head like, all right, it's been through a tough time already. Let's
Let's
get back
go.
up and find a way to bounce back. It's a
Bounce back. Rule
repeating
number
cycle.
3.
Well, number 3, bounce back. It's all about the bounce back.
That was from my episode, but you know what I'm saying. Um, yeah, JT. I mean, we can kind of cap things off. Talk about life after college,
Mhm.
how that kind of route went. I know when we were talking before, um, you had mentioned how LinkedIn has been a good resource for you.
Mhm.
I know people, I think it's a class where you download it and in college, you know what I'm saying, create a profile or whatever. Or did we? I
Mhm.
don't know how we did that. Did we have a class or anything like that for
Yeah,
you?
yeah, we
Or
did.
okay,
You had
But
like one of your first classes, like on the exploratory, like it was a part of your class that was getting you prepared for the workforce.
right,
Uh, but
right,
I knew about it in high school because I had that computer class, and that was something we talked about.
yeah. But just like how you've used not only LinkedIn but like your actual personal network, um, what
mhm.
kind of alleyways helps you navigate post college? Thankfully, you know what I'm saying, you had connected with the AD, got you out of Ohio, got a few years under your belt to where you can finally move back with the experience that you feel comfortable with. So I
Mhm.
guess how did that post college route play out work wise, networking, finding different positions for
Yeah,
you?
so LinkedIn, obviously, LinkedIn wasn't how I got the job down in Dallas. That was just networking and getting to know some people and like shot in the dark, reached out to them, had a good relationship while I was in college, and so I was able to move down there. But once I was actually in Dallas, I mean, LinkedIn was another way I was able to actually meet other people in the sports industry that were in Dallas, and it's a huge sports town, being down in Dallas, Texas. So you have every major, professional sport. You have colleges that are there. SMU's right there in Dallas. TCU's not far away. Obviously, Texas and Oklahoma are about 2 hours each direction. So you got a ton of sports down there already. But I also joined like a black sports professionals group while I was down there, which they do like happy hours. They would do events. They'd go to Dallas Mavericks games, and like again, just putting myself around like-minded people to where for me it was just like a social thing. I want to make some friends while I'm down there because I ain't know nobody when I moved down there. I had no family, no friends. Like the only friend I technically had was like a 50-something-year-old president at this company who got me the job here. Like that
That's
was literally
yeah.
like the only person I knew. And so it helped me a lot to find people who were like-minded in that, in the same sports realm from a professional standpoint. And kind of helped me like I'd never been in a position where I didn't know people, right? Like I'm a very personal person. I love to talk. I love to get to know people. But when I was in that first 3 or 4 months I was down there, I didn't know nobody. And it was just like you had to kind of force myself to go out and do something. I would go to the gym. I would go to work, go to the gym twice a day, and then that'd be it. Like I didn't know anybody to be able to like go out or like kick it, but
Mm.
you know that helped me like kind of break the shell of all right, put yourself out there, get to know some more people, and LinkedIn was a big part of it just because you connect with people and then like oh hey if you actually get along with this person, y'all can link up just the two of y'all go do something. They introduce you to some more people, and it's like just like a spider web that just like got huge and you started networking and meeting people from all over the place. I mean, the company I was initially working for, it was called Learfield, and it's like merged with IMG Academy, and they now have a satellite office at every college like athletic campus in the country. So UC has a campus, Akron has one, Ohio State has one, and they just like control the sponsorship and marketing rights for like the stadiums, the football fields, baseball fields, and all that type of good stuff. So it was just a lot of connections able to be made that way. And then I bounced around to let's see, just one other job while I was there that brought me back here. And that was again through LinkedIn. A friend of mine I knew was already working there. They connected me. She actually went to Akron, and she connected me with like a job posting that came up while I was still down there, and there was just like an opening to be like a territory manager at this large company, and that put me in like sports equipment sales. And so again, around a bunch of people who have the same mindset, love sports, and just want to talk shop all day when it comes to sports, which was easy for me. Did that, and like you just again the spider web of people just it continued to just like it got so large to where I can go down to Dallas and I still got a bunch of contacts I can make. And just like if I want to link up with some people, if I want to go to a Dallas Mavericks game, I can do that. If I want to go to a Cowboys game, we can make it happen. But I've really learned to just put myself out there and say like, hey, the worst thing that could happen here is you probably make some friends, professionally, unprofessionally. Like, you gonna make some friends while you out here. So like, why not do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a resume builder, right? And that's what you got to use it as. But use it, LinkedIn is a fine way of using it, right? You don't want to have like social interactions like all the time on LinkedIn because it's not Facebook at the end of the day. This is like people's actual job. This is what they do for a living. And most people are on LinkedIn looking for a means to an end. Like, oh, I want to have them as a client, or I want to see where I can connect with them to get connected to this person so that I, again, can, make some more money. But it's a fine line you got to walk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna need to download LinkedIn after this.
Big sales guy. Big sales guy.
Nah, but I mean, yeah, when it comes to just navigating through, I guess, jobs, work wise, personally, I can say ever since college, like every job that I've gotten, even coaching wise, certain things like that, it's just based off of who I've known. Which works in some instances where like I don't know if you know what I'm saying, shoot your shot, kind of go on a limb. You don't know where the opportunity is going to take you. Like with yours, kind of took you to Dallas, took you back home. But yeah, it's been something on my end, utilizing a resource we all have available in LinkedIn, like social media. We all can download it and utilize it. But I mean, it's glad to hear a welcoming story where you've networked, you've built, you know what I'm saying, community, this resource where it's free to anybody. You can download it and start, you know what I'm saying, putting yourself out there, your experience and all that. Makes me want to go ahead and update mine. So, no.
I just recently
update that picture first.
Yeah.
Update that picture first, Marcus.
You're right. I look a little better now. No.
Oh my goodness! We'll leave that one alone. Leave that one alone.
No, I mean, yeah, it's
all right. Well, let's after we're gonna wrap this up here in a bit, but let's touch on how's the married life, bro. I mean, you're young, just turned 30 recently, 31.
Yep, just turned 30 back in March. Yep.
30. Okay, I turned 30 in May. Not yet married myself. Have a wonderful woman I've been with for over a year.
Oh yeah, I see you, Marcus.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, my young, appreciate you. I see the future, but talk to the folks. How's it like being married? You know what I'm saying? How did you guys meet? I know you said she's from around here, but speak on that instance, because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, so the married life is great, and what I tell everybody is like between dating somebody, being engaged, and once you get married, the day to day nothing changes, right? Like it's not like, oh well, now we're two totally separate people from what we were when we were dating. We're the same people, but now we have this promise that we've made to each other, which the promise is technically in place before you get married. There's just a event that goes behind the whole getting married and like the the religious covenant that marriage comes with, right? Like I promise to uplift, uphold, take care of you, financially, mentally, everything that's told to you when it comes to being married. But it's everything about marriage is everything's it's always working towards something, right? Like there's never something you just like get content with, because the second you're content with anything in life, you almost spoil it for yourself. So it's like, how am I able to be a better person, not just for myself now, but for my wife, for the kids we want to have one day. Um, Comes with its challenges, just like any other time. Like we still have differing opinions. Like her mindset, my mindset may not always be on the same page when it comes to different things, but that's why communication is always so big when it comes to being in a relationship, regardless of what level that your relationship is in. But marriage has been absolutely awesome. Like I said, we've traveled a lot. I've been out of the country more times since we've been married than I would have ever imagined I would have. I mean, the woman literally like is a huge travel person. So like for my 26th birthday this year, and I'm gonna forget something. I know she could probably hear me. She's taking me to like we've been to Mexico for my birthday. We went to the Dominican for my birthday this year. I mean, we travel like a decent amount. And we're going to Houston literally this weekend for a family reunion. So
Okay.
like
Nice.
we do a great amount of traveling, and it was one of the things we knew we
Air
wanted to
miles.
do. Say what?
Getting them air miles, man.
Hey, look, if y'all don't have an Expedia account, y'all missing out. An Expedia account really is like that, to be honest.
Gotta
It
get
makes it so
locked
much
in.
easier to book a trip.
And it makes it
But
easier. You ain't got no, you know what I'm saying, no little ones to tag along with to feed. You know what I'm saying? You got the luxury at your hands while you're a young professional. You know what I'm
Yeah.
and
saying?
that's
Still figuring it all out, but
mhm.
that's what's up, bro.
It's part of the communication piece. So like we both said we wanted to, enjoy the first couple years of marriage, just us, like be able to do what we want to do, travel. If we want to go out to eat during the week, we only worried about feeding ourselves, not feeding two other kids and stuff like that. So again, that was part of what we agreed on. And we've been married 2 years. We've done a lot of traveling. I know we still want to do a little bit more, but it's the communication piece is always huge. But it's if you want to be married, if you're with somebody who you want to spend the rest of your life with, it's I, I would never tell someone, oh, it's the right thing to do because everyone has their opinions on what marriage should mean for you. But I wouldn't change nothing about it. Wouldn't change a thing about it, man. I saw my parents happily married, even though it was like a short time for what I was able to see. But my parents were married for close to 20 years. We have a great example with her parents. They've been married for over 30 years. Like when you're surrounded by people who've given you great examples of what marriage should look like, it's like you want to see yourself in it as well. Some more times than not, you want to see yourself in a similar situation. And I got really lucky meeting Vic. When I got back from Dallas, I met her literally on her birthday when I'm like in June, the month before I moved back here. I was like doing the job training for my job that was going to be here in Columbus. Happened to be her birthday. We went out to dinner here in Columbus. Stayed in contact the entire month before I moved back here. And literally, since I moved back that weekend at 4th of July, I don't think I've gone more than maybe 2-3 days without seeing her. Like
Wow.
it's like came back and was pretty much just on lot. It was crazy. It's
Gotcha.
5 years and some change at this point.
That's what's up.
Man, no, that's definitely what's up,
So
bro. I'm happy to hear it,
when do you
bro.
get married, Marcus?
Me, yeah, it's
Yeah, you
I can say in the near future. We'll say that.
near
We
future.
don't
All
have
Hey.
right.
a time frame on it. The near future could be 2 years from now. It could be next week. It could be next
Hey,
month.
All right.
okay.
All
Hey,
right. I thought next week.
but in the near future, I can say the lady I'm with, she's taking care of me, held me down. I can definitely
That's what's
see
up.
a
That's what's up.
future with her.
J-
Sure.
JT, I got one. This is my last question.
Yep.
If you had to give a one-liner to, I would say a high school kid going through it, trying to just find his or her way. Maybe it is sports, maybe it's not sports. But what would be your one-liner to that kid just to try to help them, motivate them, or keep them going, or just open their eyes to what the future could hold?
That's a good question. A one-liner that I could give to a kid is if he's going through a tough time, I will always say that if you're going through a tough time, so say you're going through a storm, I say that the storm doesn't last forever. I guess is what I tell people. It's not something that's gonna keep you down forever. Is there a fight? Probably in like in between that storm, whatever that you have to put up a fight to get through.
You might
Absolutely.
get a little wet.
But
You know what I mean?
yeah,
You might get
you
rained
might,
on a little bit.
might be some thunder in there, might be some hail. It might really get ugly in there, but it's not gonna last forever. And the only person who can get you out of that storm is how you approach the day, your attitude about how your attitude about your approach, and where's your energy level at. Like if you wake up with low energy during a rough time, like that'll eat you up, and your whole day gonna be just like that. But if you going through a tough time and you wake up with high energy, it could be one thing that could make your day. Like you could, I mean, if you're a high school kid, you could wake up, go to school, and you see that girl that you've been wanting to talk to for the longest time, and you finally get to talk to her that one good day because you woke up with some energy. I mean, that's an example you can. And with today's kids, it's an example you have to use because if you have to be able to relate to these kids, right? Like so, y'all both know y'all have coached, and it's something that kids are like, we're all emotional people, but as a teenager, emotions just running wild. You don't know what they think at half the time while they ain't there. So it's get through the storm, weather the storm, and just keep pushing. That would be my one liner. That's a great question though.
Wow. That's what's up, man.
It's big. I mean, we can end it on this. We call it the 81 Reasons Pod. Would like to hear, JT, what's your reason?
Wow. My reason, like, let me ask, reason for just like what's my why? What's my reason for for life in general? Tell me what context so I can answer this appropriately.
What's the reason, I guess, to keep you going? What's the reason, what I'm saying, that just motivates you, inspires you? What's something that kind of brings it all together? What's the reason you wake up every day? I mean, what's just your own definition of a reason, I guess, kind of paint the picture, be imaginative. What would you say?
Never giving up. What's your reason to never giving up? Period.
I would say my reason is people, family, and friends around me. Whether it be my mom, at this point in my life, is my wife, my close friends, people I've gotten to know over the time. Well, it's knowing that other people believed in me, other people knew that, hey, you can actually do this. And again, like I've been through the storms, been through a lot of storms. I'm gonna go through a lot more in life too. But I would say that my reason is just like without them, without those people, without the connections I've made, friends I've made, family I've grown to love even more just growing up, they've kept me going. And so like now it's I'm not saying I'm living for them, but that's my motivation to be like, if they believe I can do it, there's no reason I shouldn't believe in myself that I can do anything I put my mind to. So yeah, I need to write that down and put that somewhere.
Bam.
Y'all make me think about that. That's good.
We're gonna post this, bro. You could easily watch it whenever you like now at this point. But no, that's good though. You kind of came full circle how we're talking about everything with you. You know what I'm saying? You had a nice core group of people kind of when you were going through the storm at early stage of your life, come full circle. That same core ain't going nowhere. That's still a reason to keep you going. So I mean, I love to hear that and appreciate your time, bro. Thanks for your story. I think it's very impactful. So I'm excited to get this out, allow the people to kind of hear your side of things.
For sure. And I will say you did have a good core, man. Because I mean, I think I made a post that actually just came back up on Facebook maybe a few years ago, and I was just talking about how football has been so impactful in my life and sports period. And I have mentioned you and your mom on like how we became family, and it all started from sports. So yeah, I didn't think about it till Marcus just said that. How it all comes back full circle, man, that you did have a strong core. And even your core was there for me, like just through sports. And that's big, man. Like I said, shout out to Miss Tina always.
For sure. Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. I love what y'all got going on here with 81 Reasons. I think it's absolutely awesome. Y'all are, we all have a similar background, but y'all provide this platform to someone to come on and talk about themselves or, give their story, tell their story, because a lot of people don't get to tell it. I appreciate y'all for doing that. Appreciate the fact that I've been able to meet and kick it with both of y'all at some point in my life, one way or another. Sure. Marcus, I know we met like probably right there in the middle of college. At one point while I was at Akron, and Zach, obviously we go back to AAU, middle school football and basketball, competing against each other. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all are part of my core as well. People I got to connect with. I
Damn,
appreciate
bro.
y'all. And thanks again for the opportunity.
No problem, man. Thanks for taking the time, bro.
Yeah,
So
salute, bro. So we can go ahead and wrap it up, fellas. Thanks everybody for watching, tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video. We're on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram. We're trying to get out there. So we're a work in progress, a work in process. We're still figuring it out, but y'all have tuned in. Thanks for the love. JT, appreciate your time. We out.
We out, baby. Appreciate
sir.
y'all.